Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 11 of the Paigncast. We had a little bit of a delay there. I got COVID for the first time in a year and a half after basically thinking that I was never going to get it. I had the vaccine in February, had been around all sorts of people, and then boom, you got COVID. So anyway, that was a little bit of a delay as we had to be out of the office here, but we're back. So excited to be here. So thank you to everyone for checking us out again here for episode 11. I think I'm going to call it season 2. And then if every time I get COVID or some type of disease that prevents me from being out, we'll just start a new season. So hopefully this season 2 lasts a long time. Super excited to have our guest here today. He is the Prince of Pizza. It is Mr. Filippo Paris of Filippo's Pizza. Thanks for coming on,
What's going on, man? I brought you a gift.
No! Are you kidding me?
It brought you an all meat since you mentioned that all meat was your favorite.
Dude, it really is.
We got sausage, pepperoni, ham, bacon, and hamburger.
I'm going to eat this on air. So
That's fine.
I'm gonna, if you hear me chewing on here, Veronica, the editing's maybe a little bit trickier this time because I'm about to slam one of these. I just wish that we had
Plates?
Plates would be.
Oh, man.
What do you know, dude?
Look at that.
Oh, sick. I am so excited. You're the first person to bring pizza onto the show.
Well, I had to one-up the fireman, dude. You know, he brought you a helmet, and I was like, what's cooler than a fireman's helmet?
Yeah, dude.
Pizza.
This is fantastic. Listen, while we're diving in here, plug, promote where people can find you, where people can find the store, all of that.
So we're at 2012A Tin Cup Road in Mahomet.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Facebook page, Filippo's Pizza. Now there's 3 Filippos. Okay. So make sure you're clicking on the right one. I think our @ thing on Facebook is Filippo's of Mahomet.
Okay.
We'll have a new website up soon, and I think that's the only social media we have.
Okay, gotcha. What about your personal?
I have. I'm gonna keep it personal. I have. You know, I troll on Twitter a little bit.
Okay.
So I don't want to.
I
want customers to be like, what?
Yeah,
you know. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for the social media. You can add my personal page. Customers do all the time, and then they'll message me their order, which is awesome.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super sick.
Yeah.
Could you imagine someone being like, "Hey, life insurance through Facebook Messenger"?
I get it almost every single week.
I mean, I did it too.
Exactly. I was gonna say it happens all the time. Yeah, it's just part of my job.
No, but it's so funny because I'll be like, you know, like it's Sunday and I have orders on my phone for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday already. So
through your personal, just like
through my personal Facebook page, which is fine. I mean, the people that do that genuinely are people I love.
Yeah.
But it's always funny, like when someone I'm not friends with messages my personal page.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that stuff on.
Sweet. Yeah.
On unread. You know, I'll be like,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, listen, I want to find out about the Filippo's organization here, right? So, but first, I want to know a little bit about you. Are you from Champaign? Then, have you grown up here?
So I grew up in Mahomet. I was born in Whiteheath, technically, and then I was born in Champaign, but we were from, you know, my parents lived in Whiteheath for a little bit. Then we moved to Mahomet when we opened up the restaurant, and I've been there ever since.
Okay, gotcha.
Haven't moved. I've been staying there, unfortunately, for my whole life.
Sure.
Which is awesome. I mean, the town is cool, somewhat. I think Champaign is, you know, as a kid, you always wanted to go to Champaign.
Sure.
There's
a little bit
the movie
bigger.
theater there.
Yeah.
The mall's there,
Right.
you know, all the cool stuff as a kid's there. But now as an adult, the town's boomed. Like we have a really cool coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 great Mexican restaurants. We have 2 great Asian restaurants. We have a place called the Poke Shack, which is my favorite restaurant there.
Mm-hmm.
They make killer ramen.
Is that new? That just popped up, right?
I think it was before the pandemic. I didn't know. I didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Until someone posted about it on Facebook.
Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Because I literally don't leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely leave the house. So someone posted about it, and I went and picked it up, and ever since it's been like a weekly thing.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, so now that town's awesome. You know, they've been good to us.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yes.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
I'm almost 30. My dad just turned 60.
Mm-hmm.
He turned 60 in August, and then we celebrated 30 years in October. So my dad spent half his life making pizzas in that town, which is just it's cool.
That's like a staple of that area. You know?
It's pretty cool. I mean, my parents have really built something special.
So then, tell me this: are your parents are they from Illinois? Like, what's the story?
So the story of Filippo's is my grandparents are from Sicily, and they kept coming over here illegally, and they kept getting deported. And they finally sat down with somebody. They said, how can we stay permanently? And they said, you need to have a baby. So they came over here when my grandmother was like 7 months pregnant, and they already had 2 kids. They had my aunt and my uncle, and then they came over here when they were pregnant with my mom. So my mom's an anchor baby. Mm-hmm. So so they had her. They got citizenship. They moved to Muscatine, Iowa first, and then that was like 68.
Yeah.
And then they opened up Filippo's in Monticello in 1970. Mm-hmm. So that's been open for over 50 years now.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Crazy.
And if I make it to 73, I'll see the original Filippo's turn 100.
Yeah.
Which is even crazier. So
let me ask you this. You said, I want to backtrack a little bit here. You said that they were getting deported?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Like, what was that like then? I mean, did you ever talk to your grandmother about it to find out what that was?
Just things were a lot more relaxed back then. I think the funniest story is one time she came over here with my aunt and my uncle without her passport. Mm-hmm. She somehow got on an airplane without a passport in Italy, flew to Chicago without a passport, and they're like, "We can't let you in." And she's like, "But you let me in the country." Like, right. And they were like, and she was like, "I promise to come back if you just let me go."
Yeah.
And she didn't go back.
Wow.
And then eventually she got caught and got deported. My grandfather would come here on boats, which is really funny. But they eventually got citizenship, and then once they settled down in a town, and they picked Monticello because my grandfather thought it was going to be a hub of Italian people because he was like, "Oh, Monticello."
Yeah,
and he gets there and it's all farmers. Like there's no Italian people at all. And, but that town's been great to them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're still open. My aunt now runs that with my uncle, and I think they've been running it fully for about 10 years now.
Okay, gotcha.
My grandfather finally retired at 82.
Okay.
Because he like genuinely loved making pizzas.
Yeah.
Like loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, the moment he retired is when his health started to decline.
You see that a lot. It's weird, right?
It's really weird.
Yeah,
it's
people
like
stop working, and
I mean, the work at the restaurant. It's like it's a lot of work, but a part of it, and since the whole COVID thing is, we miss the actual because we're still shut down for dining.
Mm-hmm.
And we miss the customers. We miss seeing people because they become like your second family.
Right.
There are some customers that that have passed that I've actually attended funerals for that people that I really 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 love. So I do miss seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course with him, people would come in and go Filippo, and bust his chops. And he missed that. And then once he quit being socialized and working, he just sat on the couch sadly and watched Italian TV.
Yeah.
And then eventually passed in 2019 at 88.
Man.
So he was going till 88, which is nuts.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's
and he's
life.
had a lot of health scares. He had heart attacks, surgeries, but he kept kicking. Like we would joke because every year for like since I was a little, he'd be like, "Oh, I died this year," and I go, "You're gonna outlive me, because you're just like you're a tank."
Yeah.
And eventually, sadly, he did pass, and now it's kind of I'm the only grandson who's doing the restaurant.
Yeah.
And my other cousin, he's in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
He got a degree in biology.
Mm-hmm.
He was smart, went to college.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to college, and then have you heard of Gabby's Law?
Yes.
So that's my cousin.
Okay.
So after she passed, I took a year off, and then that year off of college was like, I'm just gonna stay.
Yeah.
So that I was supposed to move. So both my cousins went to Edwardsville. And they had a house down there, and I was going to go move in with them and finish college there. And then she passed, and I put everything on hold to stay with family.
Right.
Because we're a very tight-knit family. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the pizza thing. Because I've been doing it since I was a little kid. I know nothing else. I have no other skill, So it's like I might as well just continue this this legacy thing.
How did your family get into pizza then? Like, was that something that came over?
So I mean, I feel like I don't feel like the food industry is easy because it's not. But I feel like at that time, the easiest thing for an immigrant is to bring their culture's food here. And Italian food is now such a staple of American food.
Right.
Pizza's ingrained in everything. It's the biggest thing in the Super Bowl ads. It's it's just pizza's huge. But I feel like back then the easiest thing was to bring your culture's food, and Sicilian food is a little different from Italian food, so he had to Americanize it a little bit. Like you can tell there's a little bit of a sweet sauce on the pizza.
It's so good.
Yeah, and some people don't like the sweet sauce. Some people
really?
Oh, dude. some people don't like it.
Yeah.
So thank you. But yeah, so they were like, my grandfather didn't have an education, because they grew up in old country. They grew up, Sicily back then was like a third world country.
Mm-hmm.
He had to start working full time at when he was in 5th grade. He eventually joined the Italian army.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother grew up on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they met because he was a driver, and he was driving around in a truck.
Yeah.
And he saw this woman chasing her chickens.
Really?
Across the road.
Did they farm chickens? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
then?
and he was like, "Oh, she's beautiful."
Yeah.
So then he had to ask around, like, is she a good girl?
Yeah.
And then her family had to do like a background check on his family. Yeah. And back in that country, you don't just like go out and date. It was like her whole family, his whole family.
A lot of permissions.
Would go, dude. Like, like, have you ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah.
That is like exactly like how our culture is, like almost to a T.
Yeah. Whole family's got to be on board.
Whole family has to be on board. And if they're not, then you're either going to be living with grief from your family for the rest of your life, or it's not going to work out. But so they would have to like court each other with both families involved.
Mm-hmm.
And they got married, and they were still in Sicily. They didn't know what to do. They had 2 kids. My Aunt Josie, my uncle Enzo. Mm-hmm. And then they kept coming to America because they already had some family here. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of Joe's Pizza? Like Joe's Pizza in like Effingham. So that's my cousins.
Okay, gotcha.
So like in our culture, you name your firstborn son and daughter after your mom and dad.
Okay.
So there's 5 of us.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like 100 Joes.
Sure.
So every head of the family, their restaurant was named after them. So it'd be Filippo's Pizza, Joe's Pizza. So my grandfather started in Muscatine, Iowa, came to Monticello, opened up the restaurant, and then my parents eloped because my grandparents didn't want my mom marrying an American.
Sure.
Because they wanted to keep it within the culture.
Yeah.
Which she broke some walls because the rest of my aunts and uncles all married Americans.
Yeah.
So she was kind of like, the first. Well, my uncle was already married to an American,
mm-hmm.
but boys get treated different in Italian culture.
Gotcha.
Really different.
Sure.
Like this is gonna be crazy. I still haven't done a load of laundry in my life.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like I'm like, because I still haven't done laundry, but I work all the time. So,
right.
And my wife's a stay-at-home mom, and she's a stay-at-home wife. So,
mm-hmm.
But like men don't do anything around the house.
Yeah.
The women do.
Right.
Which is very old school mentality.
Sure.
And that's not how, I'll help out my wife with the dishes and stuff.
But culturally, that's how it just
culturally back then.
That's
right. Just how it was.
Yeah.
So the women are held to a higher standard than the boys,
mm-hmm.
Which again is sexist and but it's a 1980.
Sure.
So my parents ran away in the middle of the night,
mm-hmm.
and they went to Estes Park, Colorado,
mm-hmm.
which is where my dad's from Monticello.
Yeah.
18, goes to Estes Park,
mm-hmm.
has a whole life over there, lives almost a decade. He's 9 years older than my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back and goes into Filippo's Pizza. My mom waits on him.
Okay.
And my dad had a beautiful mullet from what I hear.
Sick.
He had a really nice stash.
Nice,
he
dude.
looked like Nicolas Cage in Raising Arizona.
Okay, yeah.
For real. and so my mom was like, "Oh man, this guy's hot." And my mom looked like something out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I don't know if you watch anime, but my mom, she had like the hair and everything.
Sure.
And they started dating in secret for 2 years. And like my mom would like go in the back of the restaurant and like dump milk out.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd be like, "Oh no, I have to go to IGA and buy milk." And then she would go, and my dad would wait for hours in a parking lot.
Really?
Just to see her for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn, Dad."
And they had to keep it like kind of under wraps just due to the family.
Yeah. Until my grandparents found out.
Uh-huh.
And my grandmother was very like wouldn't like no phones,
mm-hmm.
no landline phones.
Sure. Yeah. Not on my phone. Damn it. Yeah.
and so my dad asked her to marry her, and she was like, "Yeah." And my mom, she was actually telling me this story a couple of nights ago again, where she was in her room and she would wait because my grandmother used to read at night. And she would see the light turn off. Yeah. And then she would be in her closet and she's packing her bags. And
mm-hmm.
my grandmother came up behind her and was like, "What are you doing?"
Uh-oh.
And I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah. So
she waited till she was asleep, snuck out. And my dad, for whatever reason, was just late for the pickup. So she's freaking out that my dad's not there. Mm-hmm. He eventually whips around the corner. They get in and the rest is history.
Man, that's wild.
It's super wild. And they eventually come back, and my mom found so very similar to my situation with my wife is we like filled in their shoes exact. Like my parents approved of my wife. Mm-hmm. It's just we had so many family health problems at the time. Like grandfather wasn't doing well, grandmother wasn't doing well. They were like, you know what? Let's just go get married. Keep it, quiet. Because there's like 200 WAPs that are going to be coming to a wedding.
Sure,
that's a lot.
Right.
Plus my wife's family. So
So
we were like, let's just keep it, just us.
Save ourselves the trouble, all the hassle of it.
And the cash, because you have to feed all those WAPs.
Sure.
My family eats a lot. So it's like so we went down to Nashville. Mm-hmm. Got married, and then just like my parents, 2 months into our marriage, we found out we were pregnant. My mom found out she was pregnant with me, and they come, my grandparents lightened up a little bit. They were still, hard on, but they were like, "You guys need to do something. Yeah. You have a baby to provide for. Right? Do you want to open up a restaurant?" Mm-hmm. Both my parents didn't have college degrees. My dad's always been a guy who works with his hands. Mm-hmm. He used to do coal mining. He used to do construction. He used to body paint on cars. He's like a pretty rugged, like man's man type of guy. So he was like, yeah. So they helped him open up a restaurant and then just stepped away. And they're like, and my grandparents would come in and do checkups. Like, they would taste the sauce and be like, the sauce sucks. Yeah. You need to do it better.
Right.
And, they opened up Filippo's in 91.
Did he work like, with like pizza prior to that?
No.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, my dad
firing from the hip.
My dad was just like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. And, it's crazy because I always joke. I'm like, Dad, it's kind of cultural appropriation that you're a white guy and you're making the best Italian food. Yeah. Like you're just an American guy from a cornfield and you make the best Italian food. And he's like, I don't know what that means. Yeah. Like he doesn't get sarcasm. My dad's like he's just super like just down the line. Sure. Doesn't get jokes. Mm-hmm. But he'll joke to me about stuff. Yeah. But the way he jokes is like super mean. Yeah. Like he grew his hair out. Yeah. He just got a cut and his hair was like down to his shoulders and just randomly we'll be at work and he's like, isn't it funny? I'm like double your age and have more hair than you. And I'll be like, at least I can grow a beard. It's
really funny. Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny, Dad.
I'm like, yeah, I know I'm balding. He's like, and my dad's tall too. Yeah. He's like 6'4". Mm-hmm. So I got the WAP genes in height. Yeah. I got the WAP genes in the weight. I got the WAP genes in the hair. Like it's just like, I got nothing from you. Yeah. And he's like, I don't even know if you're mine. Yeah. You look nothing like me.
I love these jokes, Dad. These are good stuff.
Well, but the best part is when we don't, like when someone comes on board and we hire them before the pandemic, they would hear how my dad and I talk to each other and they would be like, what? Right. Because we're mean to each other. Uh-huh. And I say some stuff to my dad that is like, I would get canceled if I said it on this podcast. Sure. But that's just how we joke. And sometimes my mom even is like, Jerry, be nice to my son. Mm-hmm. And my dad's like, what? He's not offended. Yeah. He thinks it's funny. And I'm laughing in the background. Right.
Different relationships facilitate that, right?
Where and I also think if you work with your parents every day, it's a little different. Like my parents are my best friends. Yeah. Like we're like this. Like my mom and dad and I are really close. Yeah. And I think you have to be, and you have to have a different relationship to work with them 16 hours a day. Right. All day. Right. Every day. So
that's one of the things that I want to talk about then is like, so I understand kind of now a little bit as to how you got into the realm of pizza with the family restaurant there and all of that. What does the makeup then within that store, like how many people are working there? Who all is in the restaurant? Like how many people are you working with? Or is it just the three of you then that are
So before the pandemic, the only people that touched your food was my mom, my dad, and I. Okay. Now with the pandemic, it's the same, but we don't have a wait staff because we still shut down the dining room. And people have been busting our chops about that. They're like, when are you going to reopen? Mm-hmm. When are you going to reopen? It's like, first it boiled down to we wanted to wait till my parents get vaccinated. Both my parents are older. My dad's sick. He just turned 60, and they both, and people don't know this, but my dad's got like some serious health issues, and he still works like 16-hour days. Like he's a boss. Yeah. And then my mom also has health issues, and if they were to get COVID, more than likely they wouldn't make it. Yeah. Sadly. Sure. So we shut down the dining room, and then we are in the process. We bought all new tables and chairs. Mm-hmm. We're in the process of probably when we take we haven't had a vacation in 3 years now, too. Mm-hmm. We usually take like 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off. We haven't done it. So it's just been straight through. When we do eventually take our vacation, probably here in the next month or two, we're going to do a complete remodel. So it's not even going to be a vacation. We're going to be remodeling the whole restaurant.
Yeah.
And then we want to reopen next year. It was supposed to be the fall, but now we can't find staff. Yeah. We're extremely shorthanded.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it's just the three of us in there. And even before COVID, if one of us got sick and we couldn't work, we didn't open.
Yeah.
Like we need the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad gets there first at the restaurant. He gets there at like 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesdays I get there at 8:32 because we have to unload, truck. We have to move the flour and the cheese and all that stuff. So he gets there at 8:30, turns on the oven, gets everything set up, and then I come in second usually.
Around what time?
Depends on the day. Sometimes 11, sometimes 12, 12:30, and then we cook for the next 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Because every day, like literally everything's made fresh every day. The dough is made by hand still. The sauce is homemade.
Yeah.
We still grind our own cheese. We chop every single vegetable that's in the pizza place. I have to cut by hand.
Right.
And it sucks.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, just switch to bag onions.
Sure.
Like younger, I was like, let's switch to bag onions or bag green pepper. And my parents are like, no, like that's not what we're known for.
So,
we're known for fresh.
Sure.
For everything being fresh. So we make everything fresh every day in small batches, meatballs, lasagna. And then we open up at 4, do the rush.
Yeah.
And then I go, because my parents are older, I don't expect them to, do dishes, but I go right into cleaning every pot and pan that we used, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And then I clean the whole kitchen, sweep, clean the bathrooms, and then mop the whole place every night. And I get out of there usually between like 3 to 4 in the morning.
Damn. So you're in there sometimes 14-hour days then.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
5 days a week, 6 days a week?
It used to be 6. And then about 8 years ago, my dad had, he developed some health issues. So we're like, let's just do 5.
Yeah.
But even still.
Right.
100 hours roughly in 5 days is nuts.
Yeah. With your parents getting older, are you finding yourself picking up more of like the slack then? You're kind of like, running the show. Yeah.
My dad still makes pizzas and he's very prideful of his. I mean, I would be too if I was doing something for literally half his life is making pizzas. But my mom, she's got fibromyalgia. She's got a couple herniated discs in her back.
Yeah.
So she can't move around as well as she used to. The old gal's breaking down. So
sure.
So, like she used to help out in the kitchen cleaning, but some nights she still does. Like if she's feeling like spry, she'll clean a few things, but I do pick up the slack on a lot of stuff.
So basically it's what's, at least it seems here, is that the keys to the operation are soon to be handed over. There's going to be a changing of the guard here soon.
I mean, like I said, my grandfather retired at 81.
Yeah.
Or 82. So
so Pop's got he's getting
my dad
25.
He's got another 25 years left. My dad. He's so weird because like he's just like a tall guy. He's kind of lean, but then his back muscles are just like jacked because he makes his dough by hand.
Okay.
So I look at him and sometimes I'm like, man, he's gonna be around for another 50 years easily making pizzas. And then sometimes I look at him, I'm like, damn, you look a little rough today, dude.
Yeah.
And I tell him like, you look like shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, have you seen you?
Yeah.
Have you looked in the mirror? He's like, you look awful. Sure. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. But younger. Yeah, but younger awful.
Well, actually, no. Last night he told me, he goes, I look younger than you. Because I was like, what? It's like, thanks, Dad. But hopefully, I mean, I would love for my parents to be around for another 30 years making pizzas.
Do they want to?
That's all that they genuinely love it. Like,
okay.
Like
gotcha. They haven't talked like retirement, anything like that yet. I mean, is that
no?
Okay.
Oh, so when COVID hit, we closed for 9 days, and I'll never forget the first day we were closed. My mom called me and said, "Look, we might just retire. We might just say this is it."
Yeah. So it was on the table then
because out of every hurdle that my parents have ever faced as business owners, because there's a lot that you gotta. My parents, the rule of thumb is you don't make a profit for 7 years. They overcame that hurdle. Most restaurants only last 2 years. They overcame that hurdle. Right. They overcame every hurdle, and then they come to a hurdle where we don't, at the time we didn't know what the future was. So they were like, we might just retire. And I was like, crap. And they're like, you can either do the restaurant by yourself or do something else. So I applied to like UPS, FedEx, because I was like, I have a family to support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have savings, but that's only going to last so long.
Right.
So and then I have a friend who does landscaping. I called him and I was like, you got any jobs? He's like, yeah, come on down to Indiana. So I was getting ready to go. Like I literally got off the phone with him and I was like, all right, good. I have 2 weeks worth of work lined up.
Yeah.
And then my mom calls and was like, hey, we're going to do just pick up and delivery only. And I was like, which I had been saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. And then eventually we moved to outdoor dining too, which is my idea. Mom, you should listen to me more.
Sure.
She likes to take credit for that one, which moms usually do.
Sure.
But I was like, we should do outdoor dining. No one will eat outside.
Right.
Like, Mom, just do it. So we did it. We contacted the Chamber of Commerce in Mahomet. Shout out to Walter over there. He helped us. He helped us get some funds for some tables and some chairs. So we bought like these nice, like big steel tables that can sit like 8 people on them.
Yeah.
And we had them outside and it was a hit. So all throughout the summer, we had a little bit of that missing income.
Yeah.
You know, technically I'm salaried, so my pay hasn't changed.
Sure.
My parents have taken a pretty big hit with the dining room not being open.
Yeah.
And people are like, when are you going to open? When are you going to open? And it's like, we don't want to be closed.
Right.
We want to reopen. We miss it.
Yeah.
Like when we're not at the restaurant, I miss it. And even on my days off, I'm there doing something. I'm neither, deep cleaning something or fixing something. Just I'm at the restaurant at least once on my days off.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm at the restaurant more than I see my own family.
Yeah, sure.
My wife and kid.
Right.
Which sucks. But
it's kind of what it's like to have you own the business, right?
Yeah.
Like you are keeping the business afloat, like that's crazy. So do you think then, again, with you, you're the heir to this then, right? Like it's going to be yours. Do you see the need in the future for possibly bringing in help? What do you think that's going to look like?
I mean, I don't want to sound like a lazy millennial.
Yeah.
Because, my boomer parents have that mentality where they're like, we do it ourselves.
Yeah, that generation.
Don't need no help.
Every generation above ours was just working
it's like
their
you guys
ass
are
off all the
broken
time.
down and miserable. Like, and I'm already broken down and miserable. So, I do have some. So my uncle, his pizza place is mostly ran by my friends.
Yeah.
His is over in Mount Zion.
Okay.
And I think when I do take over, I'll eventually have some help. Because you have to enjoy life. And and as this is gonna sound, I haven't really enjoyed life. Like I love the restaurant, but like I can count how many concerts I've been to on one hand. I can count like how many like memorable things I've done outside the restaurant on like both hands.
Yeah.
So I've worked since I was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
My parents were like, "Hey, you need to start working," and I'm like, "What? I barely know math." Like,
right. Yeah.
So, for real, I was like, I'll never forget. My parents lived right next door to the restaurant. So I used to just walk over and I would just watch like Fuse, Steven's Untitled Rock Show and all that stuff back in the day. And I remember my mom calling the house and being like, "Do you think it's fair that me and your dad are busting our asses and you're at home watching TV?" And I was like, "I'm in 4th grade."
Yeah, I learned how to tie my shoes too.
Yeah, I was. I was like, "Are you serious?" So then they brought me in and I started cleaning the kitchen.
Yeah.
Then I started, slowly adding more responsibilities. But I've been working at the restaurant since I was in 4th grade, and they didn't pay me.
Sure.
They were paying me secretly. I didn't know, but they were paying me in a savings account. So when I turned 16, they were like, "Hey, you have this amount. You can buy a car." And I was like,
"That's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's really cool."
Yeah.
So like an idiot, I bought a BMW.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I bought
a nice car.
It was a used. It was like 10 years old.
Sure, but still
super nice. A little too nice for a 16-year-old. It was probably one of the dumbest decisions because I didn't take care of it. I don't think anyone takes care of their first car.
No, it's hard to. You just don't really understand it when you're 16. The value of maintaining
what a car is. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was cool.
Yeah,
it was. It was super cool, and of course that turned into Filippo has the cool car. Let's all take Filippo's car.
Yeah,
and it turned into my friends trashing my car.
Yeah,
all the time.
Right.
I used to work and then we would go to the movies almost every night, or we'd go cruise around campus, or and then I would have to be back by 10 to start cleaning the kitchen. So, but yeah, I wish I would have taken care of that car because super nice.
Yeah.
Now I have a soccer mom car.
Yeah.
So.
Same, dude. Yeah, exactly.
I have a GMC Acadia.
Okay, that's exactly what I have. Yeah.
You really?
Yeah, that's exactly what I have.
Soccer mom
2017, car. Yeah, GMC.
2017
yeah.
for me too.
Nice, dude.
We bought it off of Carvana.
Sick.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. But I totaled my last car. Someone hit me going to work.
The BMW?
I've had two BMW. I had the red one, which is a 330i.
Yeah.
And then I had an X1, which was my second car. And I was driving to work, and a 16-year-old kid just turned into the oncoming lane because he was like trying to turn into like a parking lot.
Yeah.
Our parking lot, and just totaled the car.
That sucks.
It does suck. I was really pissed because I went from no car payment to having a car payment, and I'm like,
exactly.
damn
That's
it,
tough,
dude. I hate being an adult.
Yeah.
Bills suck.
Yeah, they do.
Bills really suck, dude.
Yeah.
Man.
Not fun.
Rent.
Yeah.
Car payment.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It does. It does suck.
It sucks, dude.
Couldn't agree with you
I
more.
kind of want to go back to living with my parents and just only worrying about a car payment. Because I was living with my parents until I met my wife. Mm-hmm. We got married, and then we lived with them for 2 months. Because my mom was like, just stay with us, save your money, buy a house.
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, I'm pregnant. And then my mom was like, well, you got to go.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You can't do that here.
So we live just right down the street from the restaurant. I can walk to work.
Nice.
It take like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived with them till I was 25, got married. Now living with my awesome wife.
Yeah.
Puts up with me.
Yeah.
So
nice. Shout out to her.
Shout out to Taylor.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
Yeah.
She is awesome. She's a saint.
Yeah.
Because she got pregnant and still worked at the restaurant, still busted her ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she had the baby, she was like, "Can I be a stay-at-home mom? I want to be very hands-on with our daughter."
Mm-hmm.
And like, our daughter's 3. I mean, she's almost 4, so she turns 4 in February. She's already doing multiplication. She's doing addition, subtraction.
Sweet.
So Taylor's gonna homeschool her. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
My wife just started, went to like stay-at-home mom. She's like kind of helping me with this business. Part-time, but it's a cool thing to have a stay-at-home mom.
It's
one
super
of those things
cool.
They don't talk about, like how cool it is from the husband and dad's perspective of knowing who's taking care of your baby.
Exactly, dude.
All of that stuff is really cool.
And it's also hard work. Like people I feel like society shits on stay-at-home moms.
Yeah, it's harder. I feel like it's way harder than this job that I'm doing here. Like
I would much rather be making pizzas because like sometimes I get home and my kid is so full of energy and I'm just like, I'm like, you dealt with this all day? And she's like, yeah, all day. This is every day.
This is what my
I'm
life
like,
is.
you're a saint, dude.
Yeah,
and you have 3 kids, right?
I do.
Your poor wife.
Oh man, I think that all the time. I know. I can't believe she asked for it. And again, happy to provide it. It's a cool thing.
It's a very cool thing to be a provider, to like know that I'm busting my ass.
Yeah.
To support 2 people that I love with all my heart is just an awesome feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
And it makes me happy to know that I married someone who is just an amazing mother.
Yeah, same.
And she's also a great wife, but she's a better mom than she is a wife.
Sure.
And my kid is just like, it makes me happy that they have they're so close. And I'll ask my kid, I'll be like, hey, who's better at video games? And she's like, mommy. And I'm like, no, your mom sucks at games.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
I'm like, who's cooler? She did tell me before I left today that I was the better farter.
Okay, nice.
So
that's like a feather in your cap.
Yeah, I was like, all right, okay, I'll take that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Last night, she was being honorary, and I said, hey, don't do that. And she goes, why don't you just go to work?
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
yeah, like,
are you kicking me out? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like, all right, well, I was about to actually.
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to leave. I just came here to tuck you in.
Yeah.
But which is one of the benefits of living down the street.
Sure.
I can go and just tuck her in.
Pop in a little bit.
Pop in for 15 minutes.
2 minutes away from.
Oh, really?
Drive home. Yeah.
Dude, it's so nice to be that close to him.
Yeah.
Especially like if like we run out of groceries, Taylor goes, hey, I'm hungry. I'm like, you want pizza?
Right.
And she's like, of course I want pizza.
Yeah.
Or cheesy bread or spaghetti. My kid loves spaghetti.
Yeah.
So just make him some spaghetti, and my kid acts like I did something amazing. She's like, you brought me noodles? Like starts spazzing out.
Yeah.
It's super awesome. Being a dad's the best thing.
It's the very best thing.
And it's so cliche to say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everyone says it before you have kids. Like, you're gonna really like being the dad's the coolest thing in the whole world, and you're like, I'm sure it is.
And then you have one, and you're like,
this is the absolute.
Because me and you were kind of like, I feel like we're kind of similar. You grew up like, because I know your favorite band's what? Every Time I Die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
definitely.
we grew up like into metal.
Yeah.
Into harder music.
Yeah.
Probably going to shows.
Yes.
And then once you have a kid, you're kind of like, I can't really do any of that stuff.
No, they know a different dude than the one that was out here. Man. the animal that existed 10 years ago.
Yeah, I used to own a record label.
Okay, nice.
And we would throw shows in St. Louis every Monday.
Okay, nice.
So Sunday night, close the restaurant, drive to St. Louis.
Yeah.
And then throw the show.
Yeah.
And then drive back.
Yeah.
And I definitely miss the concert stuff. Like I definitely miss, but it's also like it's kind of inappropriate to be, to have a kid around, because there's a lot of drug use there.
Yeah, it's a different scene.
Yeah, it's a different scene.
Yeah.
I feel like metal, because the record label I ran was like a electronic label.
Mm-hmm.
So we did like a lot of like drum and bass, a lot of like garage and stuff and grime. I feel like metalheads are a lot more calmer than those people. Like seeing two sides of that.
Yeah, I can believe
metalheads
that.
are chill. They're, especially people like Every Time I Die fans. They're just like,
Yeah. You're moshing at the show and stuff, but everyone, especially with like, that's one of the fun things about bands getting older is now like your fan base is almost kind of aging with you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of guys who are like, my knee hurts, I'm not gonna probably mosh joy. Yeah, exactly.
Who's your top 3 favorite bands?
Ooh, probably Every Time I Die.
That's a good one.
Deftones is right up there. And then, oh man, there's a steep drop off from those two, honestly. That's my 1 and 2 all day. And then everything else kind of varies, in terms of like Parkway Drive,
Parkway
Acacia
Drive,
Strain, and some of those bands.
Acacia Strain's good.
Yeah. Those are like some of those more metal bands.
I like Every Time I Die's top 5, Norma Jean.
Oh, yeah.
I love Norma Jean. And that's a band that I feel like as I've gotten older, their style they still sound like Norma Jean, but like their style has like consistently like grown with my taste.
Yeah.
I really like Bob Seger.
Really?
Like my dad's a diehard Bob Seger fan, and I genuinely love Seger.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him live in 2019.
Yeah.
It was me and my mom, my dad, and my cousins. And
nice, dude.
It was a great show. I mean, for a 100-year-old man, he sounds pretty good.
Sure.
I mean, he didn't move. He stayed on a stool.
Yeah, it's fair.
And I was like, But my first concert was Destiny's Child.
Really?
In 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Still, nothing's topped it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
For real. I fucking love Destiny's Child.
Yeah.
I love Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, and then the other one. I don't know the other ones.
No, those are the 2 worth.
And then like for a while they had a 4th one.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Destiny's Child is my jam. Still.
Really? That's awesome.
Still.
That's a funny first concert to be like, where'd you
go?
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Destiny's Child, and then I think that same year my parents took me to Aerosmith, and I fell asleep.
Really?
Because it sucked.
They didn't like
Aerosmith's terrible.
Yeah, that's not my favorite.
It's
not. I think my first concert was like Reliant K. It was
that's
like
a good concert.
Yeah, like pop punk.
The Christian band, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So do you have a Christian background then?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we
too.
still hit church and all of that stuff. Like that's still,
Me too.
We still hit that.
We're Catholic.
Okay, nice.
But my mom, growing up, was very hands-on, and she did not allow me to listen to anything that wasn't Christian music. So like POD,
sure,
Norma Jean, Under Oath, August Burns Red.
Yeah, they're up there for me. I love that band.
I love August Burns Red, dude. And then my wife's she's a pretty strong Christian, so she only listens to, unfortunately, to gospel music, and it's awful. And I'll be like, man, dude,
not so much for you.
And like I'll play Slayer and stuff, and I'm like, dude, I love God, but like the devil's got better music. Like
sometimes, dude, I tell you what, it can be a tricky thing to try and find like to try and mesh the two of like, I don't necessarily enjoy the subject matter here, but the riffs are,
dude, Slayer's rocking, man. And like I boil it down to, I don't think music can have a belief, like sound, you know what I mean? Can't have a belief. So you just got to separate. Most of the time you can't understand what the hell they're saying.
Sure.
But there's a band called Behemoth. Have you heard of Behemoth?
Oh yeah.
My wife was like, what are the lyrics? And she was like, Filippo, you need to turn that off.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? She's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She's like, this is terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like,
you gotta put too much stock in it.
And then you know the band Ghost?
Yeah.
I played Ghost for my wife, and she was like, this is awesome. And then I showed them what they look like, and she's like,
come on now.
No, we can't be listening to this.
Like, I'm not dressing that way. That's not what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yo, actually, my wife told me when we first met that she thought I worshipped the devil because I had a nose ring.
Huh?
I had a hoodie that I would wear to the gym every night that had a goat's head with a knife through it, but it was just that brand's logo. I just thought it looked cool.
Sure.
I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
And she was like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just some brand. I'm Catholic, you know?
Yeah.
Shout out to Father Joe. Father Joe's awesome.
One of the things about like metalheads is that most of the time they look super intimidating.
Yeah.
And then they're just teddy bear dudes.
Big teddy bears.
Yeah.
And I'm a big teddy bear. You know, I'm short, but I'm wide.
Yeah.
You know, so we are pretty big teddy bears.
That's awesome.
Everyone I know that's a metalhead is just like super chill, super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad hates that music.
Oh yeah. Yeah, mine
Hates it.
too. They don't really get
Hates
it.
it. My dad's like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's awful. You can't understand what they're saying. And then I'll turn on rap music because I'm a big rap head too.
Mm-hmm.
Like City Morgue, Suicide Boys, Travis Scott, you know, stuff like that. And my dad's like, what is this? Like, he's just such a boomer.
Yeah.
About
Classic,
certain things.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic dad boomer stuff. He's like, real music, Eagles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The dads, it's so hard to try and have that conversation. And honestly, I get it. And it's coming through the pipeline with my kids too, where they're going to someday be like, dude, you've got to turn this crap off. This music sucks.
I mean, they're going to have to put up with it because I've had to listen to Baby Shark for 2 years now.
Oh, it's on in my house.
2 years.
It's on in my house right now.
24/7.
I go home, yeah.
Like, I asked my kid, what's your favorite song? And she'll go, Baby Shark.
Yeah.
I'm like, God.
Yeah, like, great. I could have guessed it based on the fact that it's been playing here.
I hate that
years.
song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. Every parent does.
It's terrible.
It's inescapable. I got to get you out of here, but I want to know real quick. This is a question that I ask all of the guests that come on. What advice, looking back, would you give to your 16-year-old self? If you could go back and give yourself some type of advice when you were 16, what would it be?
Finish college.
Yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. Honestly, I don't know. I think I would say lose weight faster, like sooner, because I waited till I was like 23, because I was close to 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And I was miserable.
Oh man.
I was a size like 50 waist.
How much weight did you lose?
Over 130.
That is incredible.
I've gained a little because my wife started cooking,
Uh-huh.
and she's a killer cook.
Uh-huh.
So I've gained weight back
You lost 130 pounds, though?
in 9 months.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was. I went to the gym every night. I would work out for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Straight, just running,
Yeah.
lifting weights. Now I'm just into lifting weights. Like, I'm just into powerlifting.
Yeah.
So that's what I do when I go to the gym. I don't do any cardio because my knees hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I want to save that for deadlifts and squats.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
I don't want to run.
Yeah.
I'm never going to run in my life. You know?
I hate running.
But I lost 130 pounds, met my wife
Mm-hmm.
at the gym, and it's been, losing the weight has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I would say do that, because graduating, my graduation pants were size 50. And I was in like almost a 5XL shirt.
Yeah.
It was bad. I was miserable.
I bet.
And
When did that start? Was that like something that you kind of dealt with, like the?
I was in a relationship I was with someone for almost a decade,
Mm-hmm.
and we just weren't good for each other, and we
Yeah.
just ate a lot.
Yeah.
So I got like
Just kind of unhealthy.
relationship. Like just a very unhealthy relationship, unhealthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just the pizza, because I lost the first 20 pounds just eating our pizza. Just get a thin crust, just depending on what you get on it.
Yeah.
You know, if you just get cheese, it's not that bad.
If I had access to this at all times, dude, I could see myself getting up to a size 50 pizza.
Well, our cheese is made with skim milk.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, and our dough doesn't have margarine. A lot of little, tips of the trade.
Yeah.
Most chain restaurants will put margarine in their dough because it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We put extra virgin olive oil.
Okay, nice.
So, it's like a
little healthier than
it's a little healthier. So like I lost 20 pounds eating the pizza, and then I went on a strict, like, they shipped my meals to me, diet, and that changed my life.
Nice, dude.
But then I met my wife, and she started making me cookies again,
Sure.
which sucks.
Yeah, well, you gotta live though, right?
Yeah, I mean, chocolate chip cookies are my kryptonite, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You still gotta live.
A little fact before I go. A little fact. This is the grossest thing, and I want to share this with everyone.
Okay.
If you go to a restaurant and you order calamari, and all the calamari are the perfect circles,
Yeah.
it's not calamari. It's pig anus.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
From like Olive Garden right now?
Fuck Olive
Could
Garden.
be.
I don't want to get in trouble. Allegedly, fuck Olive Garden. You know. No, but seriously, they are pig anuses.
That's fascinating.
It's disgusting.
I would have had no idea.
And I'll still eat it. It's delicious.
It's tasty. I was gonna
It's
say,
pretty
yeah,
good.
if it's possible that I've eaten it, I don't
If
think
it's
that I've
seasoned
noticed.
right?
Yeah.
I'll eat any anus. I mean,
I am trying to think back. Like, I bet I've had calamari a couple of times this year.
that's just like if you get it and it's obviously like they're all different sizes. They got the full ones in there. That's probably good calamari. But if it's just the circles,
Yeah.
it's highly that it's pig anus because
Wow.
we have being in the food business, we have distributors come to us and they'll have like their their pamphlets and we're like we tell them no all the time. We're like no, like we make everything by hand. We don't need any of that stuff. But they try to do their sales pitch. And it's the calamari, man, and it tells you what's in it. And
this is a big tip for the viewers. Just
yeah,
keep an eye on.
I love telling people that because they're always like.
What?
Like you could tell them like processing like when's the last time I ate calamari?
Have eaten calamari.
It's been, I went to Red Lobster yesterday. You know,
I had no idea.
It's disgusting.
That's too bad. Yeah, I'm probably still gonna keep doing it though.
I'm gonna still eat.
It's tough info, but I'm gonna look at it a little longer.
Next time you guys are eating calamari and like you're with your wife, be like, hey honey,
did you know?
Did you know? You know what that is?
I had Filippo on. He told me this.
I'm sorry, I just spit all over your table.
I'm glad we can have a spit take on the episode.
Oh, man.
Hey, listen, one more time before we get you out of here. Plug, promote, tell people where they can find you, where they can find the restaurant so they know.
2012A, Tin Cup Road, Mahomet. We are on Facebook. We will have a new website. Wednesdays are the family spaghetti special.
Okay.
Feeds up the family of 6, 45 without meatballs, 60 with meatballs. Comes with salad, garlic bread, Parmesan, homemade spaghetti. And then every night after 9 p.m., 2 14-inch one toppings, $30.
Sick. Nice. And people can find that on Facebook?
Facebook, yeah.
Okay,
Facebook.
gotcha.
And then if I know our wait times are crazy, which we're very small. If it's your first time, message us on Facebook, say it's your first time, and we will try to accommodate, you a little quicker than normal. So.
Nice. Sweet. Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. It was a lot of fun to have you
on.
Man,
Thanks
for bringing us some food. My wife's going to be pumped when I walk through the door.
Is she going to have any left?
Hell yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to probably should have at least half of this left by the time I get home, too. So. Anyway, listen, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
It was a lot of fun. Everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for checking it out. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already, and we'll see you next time.